So you're planning a trip to Las Vegas and you're looking at staying at Caesar's Palace, but you just can't figure out which one of these damn towers you should stay at. You've got the Forum Tower, the Palace Tower, the Nobu Tower, which is a hotel and a hotel, but we'll talk about that later. You've got the Julius Tower, you've got the Octavius Tower, and the Augustus Tower. Why the hell do they got so many damn towers anyway? Make sure you stay to the end of the video as we're going to talk about each one of these towers. We'll talk about the base room in the towers and then ultimately which one might be best for you on your trip. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, Caesar's Palace to many is widely regarded as the best theme hotel of all theme hotels on the Las Vegas Strip.
Excuse me, that would be the Venetian, which is down the street, but we'll save that conversation for another time.
With almost 4,000 rooms and suites throughout the property, my favorite and arguably the best buffet on the Las Vegas Strip with Bacchanal, the best nightclub in all of Las Vegas, Omnia, the Forum Shops, which is a massive mall, over 300,000 square feet of real estate. There is no question why Caesar's Palace is such a hot ticket and why it's also the 15th largest hotel in the entire world. And depending on which tower you stay in, you might have to do a hike back and forth just to get to the elevators before you even get to your room. But some people just love the hotel itself, so they don't really care about the extra exercise because who don't need their steps anyway. Now, I've stayed in all 6 towers, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dim my screen and I'll use a screen to demonstrate the actual layout of the hotel, and then we'll go into each tower so that you can decide ultimately which tower might be best for you during your stay. Now, when you get dropped off at Caesar's Palace, you're going to get dropped off at the hotel entrance, so you'll see the newly renovated statue of the Caesar, and then what you'll do is you'll go left to go to the hotel registration so you can get checked in. Unless you're staying at Nobu, then you can just go over to the Nobu Tower. So starting from east to west, you have the Forum Tower, which is going to be closer to the sports book and the poker room. And then as you come toward the casino, you'll stop and go all the way to the very back of the hotel and start getting your steps in for the trip. That's where you'll find the Palace Tower. And then coming back in closer toward the casino, you have the Nobu Tower, but I'm not going to focus too much on the Nobu Tower because if you're watching this video, you're probably staying at Caesar's Palace. Otherwise, you would have gone and booked your room in Nobu and it wouldn't be a question about which tower to stay in. But just for the context of the video, I'm going to just put it in here anyway. You have your Nobu Tower, and then through the casino, closer to the casino, you actually have the Julius Tower. Once you go past hotel registration is where you have the Augustus and the Octavius Towers. Why do they have so many towers? Great question. So let's start with the Forum Tower. Now, the Forum Tower was built in 1979. It is the 3rd oldest hotel at Caesar's Palace. And if you actually stayed in this tower, you will probably tell that there is some history because they haven't done too much with this tower compared to the other ones in a while. Now, if you're someone who gambles in the sports book, or you play poker, or you're poker heavy, or you like to shop a lot in the Forum Shops, then the Forum Tower will probably be the perfect tower for you, being as though it is right there by this poker room and the Forum Shops. And the standard room in the Forum Tower is the Forum Classic King. They do have a 2-queen option, but for whatever reason, I rarely ever see the 2-queen option. It's always the Forum Classic King. But they do have a 2-queen option, and 9 times out of 10, if you've looked to book a room at Caesar's Palace, the first option you probably saw was the Forum Classic King for a reason. But it isn't horrible. Things aren't falling apart. It does have a big walk-in shower. It does even have motorized shears to open up the shears in a blackout. So it does have some type of luxury pinpoint to it. But again, it is the bottom barrel of all of the towers. Now, coming in from the Forum Tower, just before we get to the Nobu Tower, we're gonna run down this long ass hallway to get to the hotel tower that is the farthest from the hotel entrance, the Palace Tower. Now, the Forum Tower is the 3rd oldest hotel at Caesar's Palace. The Palace Tower is the 3rd newest hotel at Caesar's Palace, built in 1998. And if you ask me, out of all of the towers, when you look at what looks nice overall, it's not the most renovated tower, but I think it may be the most eye-appealing tower, depending on who you are and what you're looking for. And if it wasn't so far, it might be my favorite tower. But when it comes to Vegas, there's one thing we always talk about: location, location, location. And the location of this tower is atrocious. It's horrendous, and probably why a lot of people don't like staying in this tower. Now, if you don't mind getting your steps in and getting your run on or getting a sprint, then you will love the Palace Tower because the rooms in this tower are really, really nice. The base room in the Palace Tower is going to be the Palace Premium King. It's going to start at 525 square feet. It's a really nice, spacious room. This is going to be one of the 3 towers that actually have the jacuzzi tub in the standard room. You can get this in a king or 2-queen option. And it's a really nice room. You get really nice big windows, nice size TV. Really nice room. Now, running a marathon back from the Palace Tower to the casino to get back through into the casino is where we'll get to the Nobu Tower. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the Nobu Tower because, as I've said earlier, the Nobu Tower to me is just a hotel within a hotel. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but since it's at Caesars, just want to acknowledge it. The Nobu Tower, which was originally known as the Centurion Tower, if I butchered the name,
please forgive me.
This tower was actually built in 1970, and it is the second oldest tower at Caesars Palace, but it did later get converted and become the first Nobu hotel built in 2013. Once you pass Nobu, going through the casino, this is where you will find the Julius Tower, which is probably one of the most popular towers at Caesars Palace because of its location and convenience and access to the Strip. Now, the Julius Tower, this is the OG tower at Caesars Palace. It was originally known as the Roman Tower. Now, that don't tell you everything you need to know about history. It was one of them ones. But it eventually became the Julius Tower, and they did a renovation of this tower, so it is the most newly renovated tower since 2016. And this tower is also popular because when you're looking to book to stay at Caesars Palace, if you don't see the Forum Classic King as the top choice, it'll more than likely be the Julius Deluxe King, which will transition into their base room in this tower. Now, the Julius Deluxe King room is 360 square feet, so it's 10 square feet bigger than the Forum room, but as I mentioned, it is newly renovated, has a very nice modern look to it. You have 1 king or 2 queen options. You do not get a soaking tub, jacuzzi tub in there, but you do get a nice walk-in shower, clean modern bathroom. It's a really, really nice room. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a popular option because this is a luxury hotel, so you're gonna see luxury prices. But if you had to mention rooms with an affordable rate, if it's not the Forum, it's gonna be this Julius room. Now, heading out of the Julius Tower, we're gonna go ahead and start walking toward the hotel entrance so we can access the last 2 towers. Once you pass the hotel entrance, we're gonna go around the walkway. This is where you'll not only find the Diamond Lounge, but all of you Starbucks lovers, y'all are gonna love this tower because guess which tower is next to Starbucks? The Augustus Tower, which also actually happens to be my favorite tower out of all of the towers here at Caesars Palace. The Augustus Tower is the second newest hotel at Caesars Palace. It was built in 2005. The standard room in the Augustus Tower is the Augustus Premium King Room. It is 650 square feet for their base room, and you can tell the size of this room once you walk into the room. It is the second tower of the 3 towers that do have a jacuzzi tub in their base rooms, which is another reason why a lot of people like this tower. And then those who are Diamond members love this tower because, as I just mentioned, it's right there next to the Diamond Lounge. But this room is available in 1 king or 2 queen options. You'll also get some of the best views from this tower, as the tower is literally closest to the actual Strip. If you were to talk about facing the Strip views from this tower are very, very nice. And then once you leave the Augustus Tower, you'll continue walking down the walkway, and this is where you will find the Octavius Tower. Now, the Octavius Tower is the newest tower to be built at Caesars Palace. It was built in 2012. Now, they haven't done any renovations to the Octavius Tower since 2012, and I mean, they probably could do some touch up here and there, but you can definitely tell that it's night and day from the Forum Tower. But the Octavius Tower is the 3rd tower of the 3 towers with jacuzzi tubs. You might keep hearing me say jacuzzi tubs because this is something that is very, very sought out by people who stay at Caesars Palace. People love the bubble fizz in the tub. But your base room in the Octavius Tower is going to be the Octavius Premium King. It does start at 550 square feet. You do have the option of 1 king and 2 queens, and you also will get very nice views from this tower as well, as the Octavius and the Augustus Tower, both on the same walkway, are the closest towers facing the Strip. So if you want a Strip view, they're going to definitely be the 2 towers you want to consider staying at. All right, y'all still with me now? That breakdown between all of them towers, trust me, I feel like I'm losing my voice talking about this, but let's get to why most of you are probably here. Which tower should you stay at? So let's just start with price. Caesars Palace is a 5-star property. It is the top property on the Caesars portfolio in Las Vegas for a reason. And if you're just trying to grab the cheapest room, then 9 times out of 10, you're gonna stay in the Forum Tower. You will be further away from the hotel entrance and hotel registration, and getting to the Strip might be somewhat of a pain, but there are worse options. But if you're just trying to be focused on price and staying in the cheapest tower, the Forum Tower is gonna be your answer. Now, what if you want to stay in the tower that's got the most space, or a nice size tower? If we're just gonna go on a standard room with size overall, the Augustus Tower is going to be your answer. The base room starts at 650 square feet. which is 100 square feet larger than the next closest tower and 300 square feet bigger than the base room in the Forum Tower. So if size is what you're looking for, the Augustus Tower is going to be where you want to go. Now, if you want to stay in a room with a jacuzzi tub, which is something I get asked all of the time with people who I'm helping do travel consultations, which you can book with me, link in the description below. If you're trying to figure out where you should stay, I got you. But for those who love those jacuzzi tubs or love to have the bubble and the fizz along with the space, then truthfully you have the Augustus Tower, the Octavius Tower, and the Palace Tower. Ultimately, which of the 3 towers you choose will probably depend upon your budget or availability, or which of the 3 you like the look, because all 3 of these towers do have a different look to them. Now, which tower are you going to stay at closest to the strip? If you're trying to stay at Caesar's Palace but you don't feel like running a marathon, you didn't bring your hiking shoes, so you're not trying to run up and down a mountain, getting back and forth to your hotel and the casino and the strip, etc., then you're going to want to stay in the Julius Tower. Now, I will throw this out here. If you stay in the Augustus Tower and you're trying to access the strip and you want to go through the entrance by the hotel registration, it may be very close to the same distance as the Julius Tower. If you come from the Julius Tower and go through the entrance by the hotel registration, you might beat it by maybe 30-45 seconds depending on how fast you walk, but it's not that significant. But if you're trying to access the strip, going out the entrance by where Omnia is or through the hotel entrance, then the Julius Tower is going to be the closest for ease of access. Now, if you're looking to stay in the most updated tower, or a tower that has like one of those clean modern feels to it, the Julius Tower, as I mentioned earlier, was just renovated in 2016. Without a doubt, is the cleanest tower as far as the eye look goes. The Palace Tower to me is a very nice looking tower, as well as the Augustus Tower. So I would say pick one of those 3 towers if you're trying to stay somewhere with a nice modern update look, because some people might like the look of the Julius Tower but they might want a soaking tub. So at that point, if it's about eye appeal, I would say consider the Augustus or the Palace Tower, and only the Palace Tower if you don't mind walking. Man, talking about all these towers feel like I just gave a whole lecture in the class. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you stayed at Caesar's Palace and you have a favorite tower, or you have a particular go-to tower, comment below and let me know which tower you like the most. If you have a tower where you just like, nah, I ain't touching that, also comment below. Share your towers that you would say avoid from. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you all enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and as always, thanks for watching.